Hello, Eddie Marcus here again. I want to ask you a couple of questions. Many of you remember a young man by the name of Martin Luther King Jr. I believe he died at the age of 39. Also, many of you remember a young man by the name of Malcolm X. I believe he died at the age of 39. Some of you might have wondered because you heard of a couple other gentlemen, say Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Andrew Young, Julian Bond, and others. And you might ask yourself, what was the difference between these last four men that I mentioned and Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King? And I'll tell you this, Malcolm X and Dr. King and all of these other guys, they all believed in God. But Malcolm X, his belief in God was founded on the Spirit. Oh, sure, he got some indoctrination from the Quran, and I'm sure some of the Bible. Dr. King got his from the Bible, but he was so real in his heart that it transcended the Bible and became a spiritual thing. When it came down to these other men, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Andrew Young, and Julian Bond, and I just mentioned these because they're well known. These four, their relationship with God came out of the Bible. It had no spiritual context. They were men who were trying to do a good thing and probably be renowned, famous, as it were. Dr. King and Malcolm X came to do a job for God. They came to do a job for God. And the human race was rewarded a little bit. But Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were rewarded heavenly. They had the life snapped out of them, and they went to the next location that God had for them. These other men, they couldn't do it. They love their lives. They don't know anything about what happens beyond the sky. They just couldn't do it. I'm not going to say they bought out, sold out, or whatever, but they weren't going to go out there and get killed. Not for you, not for me, not for anybody. And that's the same thing that you must say for every preacher in every church. I heard yesterday that there were 234,000 black churches that are assembled together in an initiative. 234,000 black churches. And that doesn't include them all. But that means you got at least 234,000 black pastors and many others. And then you got probably more white pastors. But none of them are going to give their lives for you. None of them are going to give their lives to prove a point to you from God. Not Joyce Myers, not Osteen, not anybody. And that's why our world is screwed up. Now, I'm talking to you about these guys, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm really no better. You see, I know what Dr. King and Malcolm X experienced. But they were bold enough to tell you to your face. You listen to me talk on my videos. I talk about these other preachers. I talk about how no good they are. I talk about how good they think they are. But the reality is in what we accomplish here as preachers. And that says that they're no good. I'll talk about them on this Facebook, YouTube, but I won't tell them to their faces. That's why I am insulted. I am embarrassed. But I promise you, from this day forward, anything that I will say on YouTube or have said on YouTube or Facebook about these preachers, given the occasion, from this day forward, I will say to them to their face. Because not standing up for the truth is doing nothing but aiding and abating all of you who think you're serving God to hell. Bye-bye.